everyone, and welcome to Living in Faith. I'm your host, Giovanna Charterone.
And I am Pablo Sanchez.
So, to, so today we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship and having faith as you go into this new venture of owning your own business. According to statistics from 2022 to 2023, there are about 41 million people going into their own business, and I truly felt that this was a perfect time for us to really talk about how can we share information that would help people to really embrace their business, have faith that everything's going to be okay, because it is a scary venture at the beginning, especially if this is your first time going into business. So let's talk about that, Pablo, because I know you are a businessman yourself and you've owned many businesses like myself. And, it is a scary thing because we tend to depend on ourselves only to make things happen. And how can we change that mindset? Because I know we're never alone, are we?
Gigi, I love the topic because myself, I'm also an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to tell you, I used to work in Wall Street,
Yes.
and I took a chance of opening up my own accounting practice. But before you know it, things did not work out my way. I was not making the same kind of money. And I was so scared. I was so scared when that happened. I didn't know what. And I went back. I was trying to get recruiters to get me back into Wall Street, this and that. But
Mm-hmm.
after trying, I just put my hands down and I started to pray and said, God, let it be your will, not mine.
Mm.
Let it be your will and not mine. And when that happens, all the doors began to open up for me. It
I,
was completely amazing. And one of the big things that happened with me is because I'm a CPA, is one of the big things that I did is I did not have all those clients that I had before.
mm-hmm.
But what I did is I raised my rate. So here I am.
Yeah.
I do not have any income. I do not have anything. And what a nerve. I raised my rates. I don't have clients and I raised my rates.
So what made you
No,
do that?
I had no choice. I had no choice. I was not making the money that I was making before. But then I also wanted to give a different type of service to my clients. And that's why I did it. And it turns out that that was my winning formula. Before you know it, I did not need to have all those clients, but I had just special clients that they were using me for my talents, for the specific purpose that they needed. And as you know, here I'm standing nice and tall. Now, over 20 years ago, since I made the decision to go out on my own. And when I think about that, being an entrepreneur, what that did is it gave me the flexibility that I needed in order to have time to spend with my girls.
Right.
This week, my youngest daughter, she got her master's degree from NYU.
Congratulations. I saw that.
Completely amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
if I would have remained in public accounting, I probably never would have seen her because in public accounting, it is prestigious, but you do have to work your 16 hours, 16 hours a day,
Plus,
12, 16 hours a day, and
plus.
you're doing your 6 days a week, sometimes seven. It's uh, it's really you you have to balance things out, and
What
you really
tips?
have to ask yourself, what's more important to you? What's more
Mm-hmm.
important to you?
And
Is it your family or is it your job? Why are you doing this? Is it your ego? If it's your ego, which was my case back then, that my ego did not go with God.
mm,
He did not like that. He likes me to be humble and know that he's the one that's in control. Once I realized that he was the one that's in control and is in his time, not in my time, because mind you, I was very desperate. I was
mm,
very desperate for things to happen. But what you find when you decide to go, you become an entrepreneur, is a part of the journey that you the journey is an adventure
To discover
that you really, really,
your
when
talent.
you look back, it's like, wow, if that did not happen, I wouldn't be right here. If that did not happen, and I can go through the whole thing. So, part of my journey right now is if God had not closed the doors to back to Wall Street for me, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have done so many things that I have done so far. And I'm so grateful to God because of where I am right now.
I
So,
love that. I love that.
and you really have to think about where you started because if
Hmm.
I went the other way, we probably never would have met, Gigi. What do you think about that, huh?
I know that would have been terrible. But let's take a step back. And a lot of people would like to go into owning their own business. And I know that if you go in with a passion, with something that you love, God is on your side and will help you all the way, as you create that belief that you can do anything. But if you go in it, and this is where you shared your story, how you went in it to make money. Remember about the governor made a new law and you went in and you spent so much money on opening up a big CPA firm. Do you want to share that story
Mhm.
with the audience? To talk about how your
Yes.
ego got in the way, you were going after the money versus something that, was more of a passion. Like what you're doing now is more of a passion, right?
Completely. No,
Talk
this is uh, really when you decide to become an entrepreneur, you really have to go with your heart's desire. What it is that makes you want to get up on the next day, and what is it that you're going to do? You just look forward to it. I mean,
yes.
sometimes I don't sleep at night.
Yes.
I'm so excited. I'm constantly taking notes, get new ideas. So
Right.
that's
Right.
what you want. That's what you want. And isn't it great to be getting paid for something that you love? That is the most amazing thing. So the trick is really,
Find what you love to do.
we have to ask God what our purpose is in life,
Mm-hmm.
and really enjoy the journey. Know that whatever you're going through is part of the journey, but the journey right here, what I said, the journey is really a temporary. It's all temporary, but you really have to see yourself as to how it is. You're creating your own movie right now. What do you want the billboard to say? Right? Yeah, is
Absolutely.
it you standing up there on top of a mountain with your two children next to you, your wife, and looking at your empire? Is that what you want? Is that what that's supposed to look like? What is it that you want to accomplish in life? You have decided to become an entrepreneur. Uh, are you selling something? Does everybody own one of this right now? So really, you really have to visualize what this is going to look like. And the reason I use the term visualize is because uh, when uh, when you ask God for something and He gives you the idea, you did not get the idea, okay? God gave you the idea. And if God gave you the idea, it's already yours. Okay. It
Yes.
is not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy, but you're going to enjoy the journey, and that journey is just going to be temporary until you reach there. So the reason why we talk about visualizing it is because you have to pay attention to the specific details how you want things to happen. When you visualize it, you're creating your bridge from your conscious mind to your
No,
subconscious
we think
mind.
in pictures, right? So we have to visualize it in pictures as if you're already there. And that is creating the belief. Because once you have the belief, you will be given whatever you need to make it happen. And that is the key in entrepreneurship because a lot of people, they stop 3 feet from gold, right? Then we learn about that because they're like,
Well,
oh my God, this is not going to happen. It's 2 years down the road. It's time for me to close this door. Instead, that is when you are almost at the breaking point. And a lot of people do quit. right before that. And I believe it's because they lose faith and they're like, oh, this is, cannot happen. I'm not going to make it. And what we say, and we've done many shows, Pablo, you and I, where we say how words are so important, that what we say, we can manifest, right?
Completely, Gigi. No, but the key word in there that you threw in there a few times is faith.
Mm,
And whenever that desire comes to you, you can look at it in many different ways. I talk about the Bible all the time. I talk about this at the story of Abraham and Sarah. You know, they both passed their childbearing age, and God tells them they're going to have a child. And he's going to father all nations. Like, who, me? What? And you actually see, according to the Bible, Sarah's listening to behind the walls and she's snickering, she's laughing. I can't believe she's saying that. I'm going to have a child. I'm too old. That's not going to happen, right? But then God specializes in making the impossible. He loves to do that. He loves to do that. And the reason, and if you look at everything in the Bible, it's all about Him making the impossible. And the reason why He did that on purpose is because no matter what our situation is right now, whatever it is that you want to become, believe that God can put that idea in your mind already. And if you put in your mind, that has already been created. That is the most beautiful, beautiful thing in the world. And the reason why it's so beautiful, Gigi, is because you look at God's character. God's character, he is a man that eh, he whatever he promises, he delivers.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
look at me. I have a notebook. And my notebook, I have written things that I asked God, and He gave me. I asked God, and He gave me those things in detail. I know that when I first asked, it's like, let me see. And I know each one of this guy's right here was not easy. Nothing was easy, but eventually I received what I asked.
And
Now
more.
look at it. You're just seeing just one page.
Hmm.
So when you look at all those things that He has done for me, I believe, I believe, I believe because He has done it for me time and time and time again.
And this is
And
where
now
you,
that's the come I can talk about this and say, Gigi, whatever it is that you're asking for, assume that you have already received it. Picture it. I can tell you right now, each one of these things right here. I
yes.
can tell you, I received them, and when I received them, they're much better than what I had in mind.
Oh, I'm sure about that. And you go into believing and having faith. We either have a choice, right? We have a choice. We either go believe that God will give us what we want, or we live in fear that there's no way it can happen. But we can only choose one. We can't have both. So why not pick the side of faith? Because I truly believe that's where the fortunes come in, is when you believe without a doubt and you do the work and you believe it will happen. Fear gets in your way. Fear is a killer of all desires. And so I truly want to say to my audience, pick the side of faith. The results are there as long as you do the work and you're committed to what you're doing and you're serving with love, because that is another key component into entrepreneurship. If you're serving from the heart, not from the ego, there's no way you're going to fail. Absolutely no way.
It, it completely, Gigi, this is all about the law of attraction, if you will. The law of attraction. Whatever it is that you think about, that's exactly what you're going to receive. Whatever it is that you want, that's what you're going to receive. And when we
Beautiful.
talk about the law of attraction, we're also talking about auto suggestions. What is that you want? Uh,
Absolutely. Absolutely. let's switch over and let's talk to our colleagues in Spanish and give
Ay,
them the same information we just shared.
muchísimas gracias y bienvenidos aquí. Me encanta este show porque me da la oportunidad a mí de hablar de Dios, algo que me encanta a mí. Me encanta a mí hablar de las cosas que Dios ha hecho por mí. Y hoy día estamos hablando de eh, cuando yo decidí eh, dejar, no sé cómo decir en español, Wall Street. Dejé Wall Street para empezar mi carrera como contador público y eso no fue una idea, no fue tan fácil porque cuando empecé las cosas no fueron como yo tenía. Estaba acostumbrado a tener eh, un salario fijo. Dejé mi trabajo y ahora no tenía ese salario fijo y tampoco tenía todos los clientes. Entonces, es, eh, es, eh, es un acto de confianza que uno hace ahí. Pero le voy a pedalear aquí porque lo que sucedió es, yo dejé mi trabajo y después no me gustó donde estaba. No me gustó, cogí mucho miedo, tuve mucho miedo y yo quería regresarme a Wall Street, pero Dios no me permitió, Dios no me permitió. Y fue cuando yo dije, me di por vencido, me di por vencido y dije, Dios que sea como tú quieras, cuando tú quieras, te voy a obedecer. Cuando decidí obedecer a Dios, ahí fue que cambió toda mi vida. Eh, no tenía clientes. Imagínense la audacia que tuve. Subí mi precio por hora para conseguir más clientes. Subí el precio por hora y entraron más clientes. Pero definitivamente estamos hablando aquí cuando uno toma empezar su propio negocio, eh, que esto es como un viaje con propósito que usted toma. El, usted puede tener una idea a dónde, qué es lo que quiere hacer. eh, Puede ser dar un servicio, vender algún producto o algo, cualquier cosa que usted ha decidido, eso es lo que va a hacer. Eh, lo primero que me dije siempre es hablar con Dios, preguntarle cuál es mi propósito. Papito Dios, ¿qué es lo que yo tengo que hacer? Por favor. Y ahora vienen las cosas, ¿no? Que cuando, cuando algo es de Dios, Él le va a dar a usted, ese deseíto le va a llegar a usted. Pero la cosa es que puede ser una cosa bien grande que usted tal vez dice, no, 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 yo por mi parte solo, yo no lo puedo hacer. ¿Cómo puede ser? Y lo que digo es que Dios se especializa en hacer milagros, cosas grandísimas, de una persona que cualquiera, papito Dios va a escoger a una persona que no tenga ninguna calificación, que no sea graduado, que no tenga ninguna de esas cosas, porque Dios quiere usar a esa persona para enseñarle eh, que Él no tiene ningún límite. Dios no tiene ningún límite. Para Él todo es posible. Podemos ver en la Biblia las historias de Abraham y Sara, dos viejitos que Dios le dice que tú vas a tener el hijo va a ser Isaac y tú vas a ser el padre de todas las naciones. Y lo que dije también es que la esposa Sara ya está viejita, ella estaba escuchando por la pared, escuchando ahí y que lo que el ángel está diciendo que va a tener hijos y ella se pone a reírse. ¿Cómo puede ser? Eso no es cierto, yo ya no puedo tener ningún hijo. ¿Cómo puede ser eso? Entonces, y fue así. Dios se especializa en hacer milagros. Dios usa viejitos así porque quiere ver que para Él nada es imposible. Para Dios todo es posible. He aquí, también yo lo que dije es que yo tengo este librito aquí. En este libro yo he escrito mis deseos y cómo se han cumplido. Y uno tras de otro, mi deseo y cómo se ha cumplido. Entonces, para mí es fácil leerlo y verlo y creerlo, porque yo puse el deseo, que es lo que quería, se ha cumplido, y cuando se ha cumplido, así está mejor de lo que yo quería. Esto ha creado en mí una fe perfecta, una fe perfecta. Quiere decir que lo que estoy diciendo es que como yo sé que Dios ha cumplido con cada uno de mis deseos, yo sé que otro deseo más no es nada para Él. Otro deseo más para Dios no es nada para Él. A Él le encanta darme todo eso, porque sabe que yo voy a contar a todo el mundo, mira lo que hizo, mira lo que Diosito hizo para mí. ¿Y por qué yo digo eso? Es porque yo quiero darle a todo el mundo, que quiero enseñarle a todo el mundo que Dios, el carácter de Dios es una persona que cumple con cualquier promesa que le ha hecho a usted. Las promesas esas son deseos. Las promesas esas les llamamos milagros. Todo es dependiendo en qué estado estamos. Entonces, lo que yo les sugiero es este deseo, el deseo de ser un entrepreneur, abrir su propio negocio, ese deseo le dio papito Dios. Ese deseo le dio papito Dios. Lo que usted tiene que hacer es darle todo el detalle, cómo es que quiere que suceda, qué es lo que va a hacer, porque cuando usted se pone a visualizar que ese deseo ya está cumplido, cuando ese deseo se cumpla, usted va a ver que, wow, yo nada más quería esto, pero mire lo grandísimo que es Dios y cómo Él ha cumplido todo esto conmigo. Es la cosa más bella en el mundo cuando ya uno ve, cuando uno ya ha cumplido sus deseos, están aquí. Entonces, pedir algo más no es nada. Entonces, si usted quiere, ha decidido abrirse y trabajar por su parte, escríbelo. Haga como un plan de negocios y vea al final del plan. Diga, ¿cuántas unidades usted quiere vender? ¿Cuál es el precio? ¿Qué es lo que usted va a hacer? Téngale todo el detalle. El detalle es muy importante. Esa es parte de visualizar lo que usted quiere ser. Usted siempre tiene que pensar que está haciendo su propia película y qué es lo que usted quiere en el cartel ese grandísimo que sea. ¿Cuál es esa foto? Yo digo, yo estoy ahí con mi familia, mirando en el valle, todo esto es mío. ¿Qué es lo que usted quiere? Y quiere que todo el mundo tenga su producto, todo el mundo está hablando de usted, qué es lo que ha hecho. Aquí, si Dios le ha dado a usted un deseo, Dios es perfecto. Él le va a cumplir con cualquier deseo que usted tenga. Y si usted coge y escribe en un cuadernito un deseo que usted ha tenido y cómo Dios le ha cumplido, y usted se va a ver que este cuaderno se va a llenar y usted va a saber que cumple, Dios cumple con todas sus promesas. Entonces, si Dios cumple con todas sus promesas, usted puede pedirle a Él prácticamente lo que usted quiera y Él le va a cumplir. Y sabe que a veces cuando un deseo es tan grande, Dios le va a decir, el deseo es tan grande y lo que usted va a hacer es, va a empezar ahí agradeciéndole a Dios que Él ya le ha dado eso. Va a estar feliz como si ya tuviera todo eso. Ya tiene lo que usted desea. Se pone a agradecer. Gracias, Dios mío, porque tú eres el Padre Todopoderoso y tú siempre cumples con tus palabras. Gracias, Dios mío. Otra vez lo hiciste, otra vez. Wow. Y ahí le van a ver todo el mundo ahí en el vecindario y dices, mira este Pablo loco ahí gritando por todo eso. Pero es verdad, es verdad. Dios cumple con sus palabras. Eh, si tiene la idea de abrir su propio negocio, sepa que ese negocio ya está creado. Es su fe que le va a hacer realidad. Pero esto sí, eso no va a ser fácil. No es así de fácil. No es fácil. Pero sí, Dios va a cumplir con todo lo que usted desea. Isn't that right, Gigi? Right? When God gives
Absolutely.
you a promise, He says it's not going to be easy, but He will deliver. He will deliver because God always keeps His promises.
Absolutely. And it all starts with us. And I heard you say gratis many times. And it all starts with us giving gratitude for what we already have. And He will give you more. So as you begin your entrepreneurial journey, I would say the number one thing is to give grace and give thanks for the idea that has been planted in your mind so that you can move forward and really be in control, as long as you acknowledge the person that has given you the gift, because it is a gift. And this is where faith and fortune comes in together, is when we truly give grace to what we have already have and know that
It's complete in
it,
agreement, Gigi. You have to give thanks to where you're at right now.
absolutely.
Even and give thanks even before you receive what it is that you're wishing for, and that will prepare you to get receive the bigger things that are coming your way. Give thanks where you're at. Give thanks every single moment. Know that anything that you might think is bad, no, it's part of the journey, and this journey is just temporary until you actually receive what's in your heart. Isn't
I
that right, Gigi?
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. I really hope you've taken away some tips to really help you in your journey as you go into your entrepreneurship. So until next week, we will see you then. And I'm your host, Giovanna Tardarone.
No, Pablo Sánchez aquí, un placer compartir este ratito con ustedes, ¿ok? Vamos a seguir adelante y vamos a ver que de 15 minutos fuimos a media hora, una hora, y después vamos a estar en el aire todo el tiempo, ¿ok? Muchas gracias.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.